Hello everyone, in this video I'll show you how to deploy a React application. As you can see, this is a small to-do app which we just built. You can come here, you can add your to-dos and deploy. You can mark them as complete. You can also delete them. So right now if you see, this app is running in my local machine, but what if I want other people as well to use this app, to access and use this software? So for that I have to deploy this. And what is the meaning of deploying? It means that you're going to make it publicly available for the others as well. So you can imagine this deploying process. Let's say for example you took a picture in your mobile, and this picture will be available in your mobile alone initially. But if you upload this picture to a platform like Facebook or Twitter, then others can also see it, right? So we are going to do a similar thing with our React app as well. So we have our app here, and our app is based upon these files, right? These JavaScript and HTML and CSS. So we are going to take these files and we are going to put those files in a platform, in a public platform like Netlify. And once we do that, others can also use our site, okay? So this is the deployment process, and this is what we'll be doing in this tutorial. And to give you some background knowledge, we are using Create React app here to spin up the React project, and yeah, that's it. So let's get started, okay? Bismillah. So let me just stop the server for the time being, and let's speak about the bundles, okay? So right now if you see, this is our code, right? We have this src folder, and inside this folder we have all our components and all our files. So what happens when we start the development server? When I say npm run start, so when I start the development server, we are going to use a tool called Webpack. Okay, so as you can see, it says Webpack compiled successfully. So there is a JavaScript library or a tool called Webpack which we are using. And what does this Webpack do? It takes all these different files or all these various components, all the CSS, JavaScript, and also the images and everything, and it is going to bundle it together, okay? It's going to give you one final bundle, and your browser will execute that bundle to show the app. Let me show you here. If you come to the Chrome, and if you open the DevTools, Ctrl+Shift+I, and come here to sources and page, okay? Here you can see localhost 3000, and we are seeing one index.html file here, okay? And this is, if you see, it's an empty HTML file, and in this file at line number 28 we are seeing a script tag, and it says static /js/bundle.js, so which is this folder. If you come inside this folder, there's a JavaScript folder here, and here there's a file called bundle.js, right? If you click on this, you can see it's a very big JavaScript file. It's around like 40,000 lines, and this is the final bundle. Inside this one file we have all our code, all the components that we wrote, and also all the CSS and everything. Everything is present inside this JavaScript file, and this file is being executed by the browser, and we're able to see and use our app, okay? For example, if you see in the CSS, we are applying a background color here, right? So let me copy this, and let me try to search for the term here, just to demonstrate that even the CSS is included in this file. Ctrl+F. See, background color aquamarine. So everything that we have written about our app is inside this bundle.js file, and the browser is executing that, okay? And this is the development bundle, right? Because we ran npm run start, and that is to start the development server. So when we do that, Webpack is going to give us this bundle, okay? And this bundle, if you see, it is optimized for development, because there are two phases, right? For our app, one is the development phase, in which the developer, he comes and he writes the code, he tests it, he debugs it. And secondly, it's the production phase, in which once the app is done, and now you want to make it public so that real users can use it. So that is the production phase, right? So there are two types of bundles. One is for the development phase. There's another bundle which is the production bundle, that is for production. Okay, so the difference between the production bundle and the development bundle is that The production bundle is optimized and it's compressed for better performance and faster load time. Okay, but if you take the development bundle, then it is optimized for development. Okay, so there are a lot of differences between these two things, and you can search about them in the net. Difference between production and development bundle, okay, in JavaScript. So you can search about this. You can also ask ChatGPT and learn about the main differences. But the thing is, there are two types of bundles. Okay, and right now what you see here is this is the development bundle, and if you want to deploy your app, right, then we have to generate the production bundle. So how can we do that? We have to run another command. Okay, so let me stop this over here. So there's another command called npm run build. Okay, so how do I know this? If you come to the package.json file here, you can see at line number 16 we have defined another script here, which is the build. Okay, so we have to execute this script here. Okay, so how do I do that? I say npm run build. So this will generate the production bundle for us. Okay, as for this one, npm run start, this is going to start the development server, but this will create the production bundle for us. So I'm going to execute that. As you can see, it says that creating an optimized production build, and also on the left side you see there's a new folder which just appeared. This is build folder. So now the build process is complete, and inside this build folder you can see there's another HTML file here. Okay, and in this HTML file we are referring to a JavaScript file here, static.js main dot something. So you can come here, JS. You see, this is the final production bundle. Okay, and as you can see, this is something different to what we saw here, right? This is the development bundle. Okay, this is the development bundle, but this one is the production bundle. Okay, and you can see it's compressed and it's minimized. Okay, you can see this is a variable. For example, e is a variable. So this is this can be fastly, this can be downloaded and executed much faster compared to the development bundle. Okay, so this is the final bundle, and we also have our CSS here. Even all the CSS is combined into one thing, and also the media here, all the images that we have in our project, all the icons and all those things. So everything that we need in our app is present in this build folder. So using this folder alone, we can see and you can use our app. Okay, so let me demonstrate that. Let me close this and go to my file system. So it is this build folder, right? So I can come here and let me just try to open this using Chrome. Okay, right now you see you don't see anything. The reason is because we are getting some error here. If you go to console here, it says that it's been blocked by CORS policy. Okay, so the thing is, generally you should be able to open this site just by clicking on that, but due to security policies it is blocked by default. So what we can do is we can use a VS Code extension to open our site. Okay, in production mode. So let me open this folder in VS Code. Okay, so I'm going to use an extension called Live Server. By the way, if you have studied HTML and CSS, obviously you should have, then you would have come to know about this extension here, Live Server, which can be used to serve HTML and CSS files. So I have already installed this. Okay, so let me come here and just click on this button here. Okay, to open this HTML file or to serve this HTML file by way of this server. So if I click here, see, I can see my app here. So right now what's happening is I am serving this HTML file through this server at localhost 5500, and inside that HTML file I am making use of my production bundle, which is this, and also the production CSS bundle here. Okay, so because of that, that bundle is being executed and I'm able to see my app here. Okay, so it's the same app, but this is in production mode. Okay, so now what we should do is that we just take this build folder, whatever we have inside this build folder, and just upload that to Netlify. That's it. So once you do that, others can also use your app. So just like you are seeing your app in production mode, if you upload this folder to Netlify, this build folder to Netlify, then others can also, Netlify will give you a link, okay, some name.netlify.com, and you can share this link with anyone that you want, and if they click on that link, they'll be able to see your app. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So let me log into Netlify. So once you have logged into Netlify, you have to come here, sites, and click on add new site, and click on import an existing project. Okay. Okay, and here if you see, it's asking to connect to a Git provider. Okay, so before we look at how to connect that with GitHub, we'll first look at manual deployment. Okay, because we know that we just have to use this build folder, right? If you can upload this build folder to Netlify, then anyone can use this site, right? So we'll just try to upload this folder, okay, without using Git as of now. So let me come back, add new site, deploy manually. So what does it say here? It says drag and drop your files here. So drop a folder with your site's HTML, CSS and JavaScript files. Will give you a link to share it. So it's as simple as that. So we know that inside this build folder we have all our HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? So just upload this build folder to Netlify and it's going to give you a link, and if you use that link you'll be able to see the app. Okay, so let me choose it. So it is this build folder. It's getting uploaded. Okay, so it's done now, and you can see it has given a link for us, open production deploy. If I click on this, you can see this is the app, and we are able to access this app using this link. So Netlify has given a link for us, and if you can access the production app using this link, and if you share it with anyone, then they'll be able to see the app as well. Okay, and I can change this name here. Right now if you see it's random, so I can come here and let me change the name, deploy settings. In domain management, edit site name. So let me say React to do app. Okay, site name is already taken. Okay, zcoder. So the site name is changed right now, and the app is now available inside this link here. Okay, so it's very simple. You just take the production bundle and upload that to Netlify. It's going to give you a link for you. Okay, but there's one problem with this approach, which is, let's say that I'm going to make some improvements or changes to my site. Okay, so let's say that I don't like this aqua color, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to, okay, let me just close this and let me open my root folder, okay, in VS Code. Let me open this. So this is our code base, right? So what I'm going to do that I'm going to change my color to something else. Okay, so I have my background color here, it's aquamarine. I'm going to change it. Okay, so let me start my development server. Let's make some changes for this site. Okay, so npm run start. Okay, so let's change this color to something else. Let me keep this color here. Let me save it. So this is my new site, okay? So I have made some improvements to this, or some changes to this. Now I want these changes to be reflected in my production as well. React, okay, I lost the link. So this is our production instance and this is our development instance, right? So I made some changes and I want these changes to reflect in my production instance as well. So what should I do now? We should again come here and run the npm build command, take the updated or the latest production build and upload that to Netlify so that it will be reflected here. Okay, that's the straightforward way, but the problem with that is every time we make a change to our site, we are repeating that process, right? We are building it again manually, uploading that manually. So that's not a good thing, right? We would like to automate that. So it's best that whenever I'm going to make a change to my app, I want that changes to be reflected in my production instance automatically, okay? So there's a way to do that. What we can do in that case is, we have to push this code to GitHub, okay? And we have to connect our Netlify account with GitHub so that whenever we make a change, we just upload or we just push those changes to GitHub. So once the GitHub repository is updated, Netlify will detect that and it will download the latest code and it will update the production instance as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. So let me first go to GitHub. So I have already logged in here, and if you are using it for the first time, then you have to create an account here. And by the way, by this point in time, you should at least know the basics of Git and GitHub, how to create a repository, how to make commits, how to push, how to pull, so basics of Git and GitHub. Otherwise, you should not be, you can't understand what's going to happen right now, okay? So this is my GitHub profile, and here I already have a repository for this app here, and you can see it's having only one commit, which is the initial commit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that I have all my changes here. Okay, this is the complete changes for my app. So I'm going to commit all these changes. I'm going to push that commit to my repository. Okay, so let me open a new terminal. So this is the code that I have, and if you see, this code has some changes, right? So I'm going to commit this. I'm going to git add git commit -m todo app complete. So I have committed this, and I'm going to push this commit to my repository. Okay, so if I run git log now, you can see it is showing two commits for me. Okay, this one and this initial commit that you have here, but in a GitHub repository there's only one commit, right? So I'm going to push this new commit to my GitHub repository. So I can either click on here or I can run git push. So I have pushed my latest code to GitHub. So if I reload here, you can see we have two commits now, and right now I have the latest code in my GitHub repository. Okay, all my files here. So this is done. Okay, now what I should do is I should come to Netlify and I should connect my Netlify account with my GitHub here. Okay, so let me come here for this site, come to deploys. Okay, site overview, deploy settings. Yeah, so if you come to deploy settings, there's an option called continuous deployment. Come here and it says current repository is not linked. Okay, so currently if you see this project, right, or this site is not related to or linked to any GitHub repository. So what we're going to do now is we are going to link this site with this repository in which we know the code is living there. So I'm going to click on this GitHub. Okay, so once it's authorized, it's going to show me the list of available repos. So I want to connect my app with this repository, right? /react todo app. So let me choose that. So once I have chosen the repository, it is asking for some more options here. Okay, so let me explain this. First is the team. Okay, the second thing is the branch to deploy. Since in GitHub we can have multiple branches, right? Right now if you see there's only one branch, which is the main branch. Okay, but there can be other branches as well, right? So you have to choose which branch to deploy. So right now we are going to deploy this main branch. Okay, so I have selected it there. Secondly, you have the basic build settings. Okay, and here we have three options or three fields. The first one is the base directory. Okay, let me come back to this. The second one is the build command. So we are writing here npm run build. So what we are trying to do here is that we are telling Netlify what command to run, because we know that to generate the production bundle we have to run the npm run build command. We know that, right? But we have to tell Netlify as well which command to run. So that's what we are doing here. We are telling Netlify that you take this code or download this code from my GitHub repository and you run this command npm run build. Okay, and once you run that command, we are telling Netlify that there will be a folder called build, and inside this build folder I will have a production bundle. Okay, so we are telling Netlify which command to run. We are also telling Netlify where the output will be, because we know that the output will be inside the build folder, right? But we have to tell Netlify as well, right? So that's what we are doing here. Okay, and this base directory is where to run this command. Okay, because when you run a command in a terminal, you can run it in any folder, right, or any directory, and the output may differ based on the directory, right? Generally, if you see npm run command or npm commands, it should be ran in the folder in which the package or JSON file is located. Okay, and this file, if you see, it is in the root folder, right, or the root directory. So we can just leave it empty. Okay, we don't have to do anything here. So once you have told Netlify which command to run and where to look for the output, Netlify is going to take our code, it's going to download this code from GitHub, and it's going to run this command in its server. Okay, in Netlify's server, it's going to run this command, and it's going to take that build from the output from the build directory, and it's going to deploy it for us. Okay, and it's going to give us the link. So this is what's happening behind the hood. Okay, so if I click on deploy site now, you can see there's one deploy going on right now, and it's building now. Let me click on that to see the status, and it is showing the logs here. Okay, because Netlify is doing something, it's executing some commands in its server, and these are the logs. Okay, so using these logs we can see what is the status, and if something goes wrong we can see what went wrong. So see, it ran this command npm run build. Okay, now you see it failed to compile, so the build process, it failed, and the reason for that is here. It says that treating warnings as errors because process.end.ci is equal to true. Most CI servers set it automatically. Okay, so the problem is there are three warnings here. I can see there's one warning here, another warning, and this is third warning. Okay, so these are three warnings, and it is treating these three warnings as errors, because there's a difference between error and warning. Warning means your app still runs, but it's better to fix that. But error means it won't run, it's going to crash. Okay, right now if you see, there are three warnings, but Netlify is treating those warnings as errors, and that's why the build is failing here. Okay, so what we want to do now is we have to fix these warnings, meaning we have a code base here, just fix those warnings and push the changes to GitHub. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So we know where the warning is, right? It's on line number 1 at app.js file. Okay, logo is defined but never used. Second, likewise, use effects as well. So let me come to that file here. This is this one. So let me delete that. You can see it's slightly dim, right? Because we are not using it anywhere. So let me delete that. Let me also delete this use effect. Let me save it. And also, by the way, we are running our development instance here. Okay. So here the warning is not showing up, it should be showing actually. Anyway, so the third warning is in this file, components todo.js, line number 15. Image elements must have an alternate prop. Okay. To do line number 15 here. Okay, so here we have an image tag here, and this should have an alternate prop. Okay, so we have to define that. Alt is going to be to do action. Okay, so I have saved it now. Now we should have got rid of all the errors. Okay, so let's just check that the app is still running properly. So let me reload it. So the app still works fine. Okay, so we should have fixed all the warnings right now. So I have updated my code here, right? So let me just commit that and push these new changes to GitHub. Okay, and see what happens. Git add git commit -m fixed warnings. Okay, so I have created a new commit. I'm going to push it now. So I have pushed this new commit to GitHub, and let me come to GitHub and see what happens. Let me just reload this. You can see there are 3 commits right now. So I have pushed my latest commit here, and in this latest commit I'm going to remove these things. Okay, there are slight changes. I have added this alt here. I have also removed this thing. Okay, so I have updated my GitHub repository. Okay, and let's come back to Netlify and see what happens. So let me just reload this. You can see it started another deploy. So let me come here, deploy. Okay, yeah, so it has finished actually. See, at 7:54. Okay, the time is 7:54 right now. So what happened was, the moment we pushed this code right to GitHub, Netlify it detected that, and it took the latest code and it created that bundle for us. Actually, it ran all of that, and you see in this case, this time it was successful. Okay, the build was successful, and it took those static files, the build output, and it deployed it for us. Okay, which means that if you come, so this was the old URL, right? So this was an old instance. So if I reload that, you can see the color changed. Okay, because right now we are using the latest code from GitHub. So this is what we need, right? Whenever we make some change to our app, then those changes, it get reflected automatically. Okay, so let's try that once again. Okay, so let me come here. For example, let me change this green color to something else. Okay, let me change that to black. So add to do. So we have the CSS file here. So this is the button color. So let me change that to let me change that to black. I have saved it, and this is how my app looks in development. Okay, so I want this change to be reflected in my production as well. So what I should do, just push these changes to GitHub. Simple. So let me come here, git add git commit -m to do button color changed. So I have made the new commit. I'm going to push this now to GitHub. Git push. So I have pushed it right now, and you can see Netlify should have started another deployment. See, it's building now. So it's taking it has just taken our latest code, and it is building it again automatically, and it's going to update this for us. Okay, so this is going to change to black right now. Okay, so finished process build request in some seconds. Okay, so it's complete now, I guess. Let's reload this. Now you can see it's black now. Okay, so it's working right now. So whenever we make a change, just commit those changes and push it to GitHub, and Netlify will take care of the rest. Okay, so this is the deployment procedure, and that's it. That's how you deploy React application, and you can see it's very simple actually. But in a real life, if you are building something meaningful, it won't be this simpler. There will be much more advanced steps as well. But to get started, if you're learning React, then this should give you a very good idea about how to deploy an app and the procedure involved in that. By the way, this is what comes under CI/CD or DevOps. Okay, so we have front-end developers, we have back-end developers. You also have developers called DevOps or CI/CD developers, right? So what they do is that they take care of this type of tasks. They take care of taking the code and deploying it, building it, testing it, and all those things, all the procedure, automating all those things. This is the job of the DevOps engineer, okay, or CI/CD. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned this and found you learned a lot and you found this beneficial. So I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thank you.